If she doesn't respect you, nothing you do will ever be enough. Not your loyalty, not your kindness, not your money. In fact, the more you give, the more she'll take, until there's nothing left of you. Never do these 7 things for a woman who doesn't respect you, unless you're ready to be used, ignored, and thrown away. Too many guys think they can earn a woman's love by being overly generous, constantly available, or acting like the nice guy. But if she doesn't respect you deep down, all of that just makes you look weak. This video will save you from wasting time, energy, and self-worth on someone who sees you as an option, not a priority. If she doesn't respect you, nothing you do will ever be enough. Not your loyalty, not your kindness, not your money. In fact, the more you give, the more she'll take, until there's nothing left of you. Never do these 7 things for a woman who doesn't respect you, unless you're ready to be used, ignored, and thrown away. Too many guys think they can win a woman over by being overly available, by bending over backwards, by proving how good they are. They think if they show enough effort, eventually she'll turn around and give them the love they're hoping for. But here's the problem. If she doesn't respect you in the first place, no amount of effort will change that. It doesn't matter how often you show up, how much you do, how many times you say the right thing. If she's already made up her mind that you're not the man she looks up to, it's over before it even starts. That's the hard truth a lot of guys don't want to face. They think respect is something you earn by trying harder. But real respect doesn't work like that. It's either there from the beginning, or it's not. And when it's not, every nice gesture just makes you look weaker in her eyes. This is where most men mess up. They start giving too much too early. They offer their time, their energy, their emotional support, even their money, hoping she'll notice how serious they are. But all that does is teach her that she can take from you without giving anything back. And once she sees that, she'll never treat you the same. You'll be the guy she calls when she's bored. You'll be the guy she leans on when she's stressed. But you'll never be the guy she respects or desires. And that's the death of any chance you thought you had. One of the biggest mistakes you can make is becoming her emotional support system when she doesn't actually value you. She'll come to you when she's upset. About another guy. She'll text you late at night when she's lonely. She'll open up to you, cry on your shoulder, let you comfort her. But the second she feels better, she's off entertaining someone else. You're not special to her. You're useful. And the moment you stop being useful, she's gone. What's worse is that she doesn't even feel bad about it, because in her mind, you offered. You gave yourself freely, so why should she feel guilty for taking it? Then there's the constant need for approval. When you start chasing her validation, trying to impress her, texting her constantly, trying to win her attention, you look like a man who doesn't value himself. And if you don't value yourself, why should she? Women are instinctively drawn to strength, confidence, and independence. If you're always seeking her attention, always trying to get a reaction, you're putting her on a pedestal. And once you do that, she's looking down on you, plain and simple. No woman respects a man who puts her above his own self-worth. You don't need to prove anything to someone who isn't even meeting you halfway. And here's the thing. When a woman doesn't respect you, she's going to start testing you. Little things at first. She might cancel plans last minute just to see how you react. She might flirt with another guy in front of you just to gauge your response. She might ignore your messages for days and then suddenly act like nothing happened. And the moment you let it slide, that's when she knows she's got you. Every time you excuse disrespectful behavior, you're telling her that your standards don't matter. And if your standards don't matter, you don't matter. That's how fast attraction dies. Not because you weren't good enough, but because you refused to draw the line. You refused to walk away when you should have. And now, she sees you as someone who's always going to be there, no matter how she treats you. A woman who doesn't respect you will take everything you offer and still act like you owe her more. You'll buy her dinner, and she'll barely say thank you. You'll cancel your plans to help her out, and she won't even acknowledge the sacrifice. You'll go out of your way to be there for her, and she'll treat it like the bare minimum. Because in her eyes, that's what you're supposed to do. That's how low she's ranked you in her mind. And once you fall into that trap, where you're constantly giving and she's never reciprocating, you become disposable. She doesn't feel grateful. She feels entitled. And that's a game you can't win. This is where a lot of guys stay stuck. They keep hoping things will change, that if they just hang in a little longer, maybe she'll finally appreciate them. But what they don't realize is, she's already made up her mind. Once she sees you as someone she can walk over, that label sticks. No matter what you do afterward, you're still that guy. And she's not going to suddenly wake up one day with new feelings. That kind of shift only happens when a woman sees a man as strong, independent, and not afraid to walk away. That's what flips the script. Not chasing, not pleasing, not waiting around. A big mistake that destroys respect is apologizing for things you didn't even do wrong. Maybe you're trying to keep the peace. Maybe you're afraid she'll leave. So you start saying sorry just to smooth things over. But guess what? That doesn't make you look emotionally intelligent. It makes you look weak. It makes it seem like you're trying to earn her affection by taking the blame. And no woman truly respects a man who's always trying to avoid conflict instead of standing up for himself. If you're not willing to defend your own boundaries, she'll push them every single time. And once she learns that you'll just roll over and take it, the power dynamic is gone. At that point, you're not her equal. You're her emotional doormat. You should never try to fix her problems for her if she doesn't respect you. She'll dump all her emotional baggage on you, and instead of supporting her, you'll end up enabling her. She's upset about something? You're there, giving her advice, trying to make her feel better. You put your own life on pause just to be the guy she vents to. But guess what? She's not listening. She doesn't care about your solutions. She just wants to use you as an emotional outlet. And as soon as she feels better, she'll go back to ignoring you. You're not a boyfriend to her. You're a therapist she never paid for. And the worst part is, the more you try to help, the more she loses interest. Because women don't fall for the guy who's always trying to fix everything. They fall for the guy who has his own life, his own values, his own priorities, and doesn't drop everything just because she snapped her fingers. The moment she senses that you're more invested in her problems than your own purpose, she starts checking out. Respect isn't built on sacrifice. It's built on self-control, on having the strength to say, no, this isn't my job. This isn't my role. You're not supposed to be her savior. You're supposed to be her equal. Also, never over-explain yourself to a woman who clearly doesn't care. If she questions your decisions or your actions, and you immediately go into this long explanation trying to justify yourself, you're doing too much. Real men don't over-explain. They don't beg to be understood. They stand on what they believe and let their actions speak. When you keep trying to get her to see your side, all it does is make you look insecure, and insecurity kills respect faster than anything. A confident man doesn't need to convince anyone of his worth. He shows it in how he moves, in what he tolerates, and in what he's willing to walk away from. Another thing you should never do for a woman who doesn't respect you is fight her battles. You might think you're being protective or supportive, but if she doesn't see you as someone worth respecting, then your effort just makes you look like a fool in her eyes. She'll stir up drama, get into arguments with other people, and instead of owning her part in it, she'll expect you to come to her defense like some kind of guard dog. And when you do, she doesn't thank you. She doesn't admire you. She just uses you again the next time something goes wrong. You become her shield, her emotional punching bag, and her scapegoat, but not her man. Women respect men who can stay grounded and composed, especially in the face of chaos. If she's constantly testing you with drama and disrespect, and you keep stepping in to save the day, you're training her to act worse. You're rewarding her bad behavior. And every time you pick up the sword for her, you're leaving yourself wide open. Not to mention, if she never fights for you, if she never defends you when others disrespect you, then it's clear she's not invested. Respect is mutual. And if she doesn't care about your image or how others treat you, then you need to stop fighting for someone who wouldn't lift a finger for you. Another huge mistake? Telling her all your deepest secrets and insecurities too early. Look, I get it. Vulnerability has its place, but only when it's earned. Only when you know you're dealing with someone who genuinely sees you and values you. If a woman doesn't respect you and you open up too soon, all you're doing is handing her ammunition. You're giving her the tools to manipulate you later. She'll smile and nod while you're pouring your heart out. But in the back of her mind, she's making mental notes of every weakness you just exposed. And when things go south, she'll use it against you, subtly or directly. Maybe she won't say it out loud, but she'll lose attraction the moment she sees that your emotions are completely tied up in her. A woman who doesn't respect you is not a safe space for your vulnerability. That doesn't mean you bottle everything up forever. It means you move smart. You protect your emotional currency the same way you'd protect your money. You don't just hand it out to anyone who asks for it, especially not someone who's shown you time and time again that they don't value you, your time, or your feelings. Respect isn't just about how someone treats you in public. It's about how they speak about you when you're not around. It's how they show up when you're not doing things for them. And if she doesn't check in, doesn't support you, doesn't care unless she needs something, that's not someone who deserves your emotional truth. That's someone who deserves your distance. One more thing that destroys any shred of self-worth: changing who you are just to impress her. You start talking differently, dressing differently, hanging out with people you don't even like, doing things you're not really into, all because you're trying to fit into her version of what a man should be. But here's the brutal truth. The second you abandon your identity, she loses interest. Because deep down, every woman wants a man who knows who he is, a man who's rooted, a man who can stand tall in any room, with or without her. When you shift your personality every time she shifts her mood, you become predictable and easy to control. And once she knows she can mold you into whatever she wants, the challenge is gone, and so is her respect. Women test men not just to see how far they can push, but to see what you'll tolerate. Every little thing you let slide, every boundary you don't defend, every time you try to be nice instead of being real, it adds up. She starts to view you not as a man she can trust and admire, but as someone she can manipulate and outgrow. And once that thought creeps in, it's hard to reverse. At that point, it's not about fixing things. It's about waking up and realizing the person you're trying so hard to win over doesn't even see your value. And the only way to get that respect back is by stopping the behavior that lost it in the first place. And here's the final trap most men fall into: sticking around, hoping she'll change. You see the disrespect, you feel it, but you keep giving her chances. Maybe she was sweet in the beginning. Maybe you had a few good moments. Maybe she had a tough past, and you're trying to be the one who finally treats her right. I get it. You're holding on to hope. You think if you just prove yourself enough, if you just give more, love more, tolerate more, eventually she'll wake up and see your worth. But she won't. Not because you're not worthy, but because in her mind, if you were really that valuable, you wouldn't need to prove it over and over again. You'd walk away the first time she crossed the line. That's how powerful men move. The more you tolerate disrespect, the more she loses respect. That's the hard truth. And every day you stay, every excuse you make for her, every time you let her mood swings or cold shoulder control how you feel, it chips away at your confidence. It makes you question yourself, it drains you, and it slowly kills the version of you that once stood tall. That's what really hurts. Not the fact that she doesn't respect you, but the fact that you start to forget how to respect yourself. Women don't fall for the guy who bends over backward for their approval. They fall for the man who sets the standard, who knows his value, who doesn't explain his worth. He just embodies it. You don't earn respect by chasing it. You earn it by making it clear that if it's not given, you'll leave. No drama, no begging, no emotional breakdowns. Just distance, just silence, just standards. Because that's what forces people to either step up or step out. And when you walk away from someone who doesn't respect you, you don't just protect your pride, you realign your power. The truth is, the most attractive energy a man can carry is the ability to walk away. Not in bitterness, not in revenge, but in calm, detached self-respect. That's what makes her look twice. That's what lingers in her mind when she realizes you're no longer chasing. Because when you stop doing all the wrong things for the wrong woman, you make space for the right one to see you clearly. And more than that, you start to see yourself clearly again. So never beg, never overgive, never lose your identity, never open up too soon, never fix her problems, never become who she wants if it means losing who you are, and never, ever stay in a place where respect doesn't live. Because the moment you stop doing these things, you stop being an option, you become the standard. Watch the next video.